We've always had room in our hearts for film and TV, not just on Netflix, but tape and disc and theaters. Also, God forbid that they take it all away and leave us nothing to broadcast to loyal listeners. We'll binge watch every single movie, so you don't have to. What else are we here for? Coming to you every week. Listen to us while you're busy. Luckily, we forgot to grow up. Hey everybody, it's Craig.
Hey, it's Scott.
Hey, it's Andrew.
Welcome to episode number 89 of the Forgot to Grow Up podcast. On this week's episode, we are going to try one of our
less than celebrated.
Actor episodes. Those episodes where we think we've got a lot of material, and then it turns out we just list a bunch of movies, say, yeah, that was good. And we all decide that the actor we're talking about is good because obviously that's who we're talking about.
Because obviously if they're an actor, they better be good.
And then we move on and talk about other stuff. So this week, we're going to move on and talk about other stuff after we talk about Samuel L. Jackson, who's been in a lot of stuff, but is surprisingly not memorable in a lot of the things because I had to sit there and really think about what he was in. There's some movies that he's in where you're like, yeah, obviously. And then there's other movies you watch and you're like, wait, that was him?
Yeah.
We were just talking about this, like Goodfellas.
Exactly. Did not remember he was in Goodfellas. I will talk about it, but there's a movie that I watched this week that I didn't know he was in until I saw it again recently. And then at that, I couldn't really tell that it was him and had to go look it up to make sure.
Was this an older movie?
It's a decently old film.
Like 90s? Are we talking like Jurassic Park?
You nailed it. Thanks for spoiling it.
No problem, man. I had to tap into that brain, and I was like, what movie from the 90s do people know he was there, but also forget he was there?
Yeah, well, it's Jurassic Park 100%. It's that mustache, the fact that he doesn't get much screen time.
The hair.
Yeah, the hair helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hair.
The fact that...
That's what throws me off the most, because I don't think he's done the weird, because it's the side with, a light comb over, right? The balding comb over, if I'm not mistaken.
In Jurassic Park? No, I'm pretty sure he has a full head of hair, doesn't he?
Oh, he's got a full head.
Okay, then I'm thinking
it's just short.
I think you're just stereotyping balding people.
No, I might have been thinking, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyways, Samuel L. Jackson. Should we start with that quiz I brought up so that we have a little more than which ones he's good in?
Might as well. Let's steal someone else's work. Let's do this.
Yes. So I found a quiz online. It's on funtrivia.com. So we throw a little bit of, We're
credit. Borrowing it rather than do our own work. We're just going to borrow it.
Yes. Okay. So this quiz is 10 questions. This first one I have no clue, but it's also got a hint. So anyways, the first one's a little bit of a random one. So in which film does Samuel L. Jackson appear in a kilt? Clue.
In a kilt?
In a kilt. It says clue. In the U.S., the film was called Formula 51. So I'm guessing that's not the movie they're looking for the name of, because then it says the answer is 3 words. We have to just put it in there. So you guys
the movie is called 3 words?
No, No, the movie has, the title has 3 words.
Oh, so they fucked up and, gave the hint as the answer?
Well, that's the part I'm confused about, because it's Formula 51 is what it was released in the U.S. as, but I'm guessing the rest of the world it was released as something different, and that's the answer that they're looking for?
Couldn't tell you, man.
With a kilt.
Yeah.
I can't think of a movie I've seen with him wearing a kilt.
Okay, we're going to go to the second one, because this one seems a little bit more, relevant and easy. So in 2000, Samuel L. Jackson reprised a role made famous in the 60s.
Is it Shaft? Tell me it's Shaft.
I think it is Shaft.
It has to be Shaft. Shut your mouth.
It doesn't give me the answers till the end. We have to do all 10 questions first, then we'll get the answers. But I put Shaft in as our answer. So the next question is, Samuel L. Jackson was nominated for a Best Supporting Actor Oscar in this violent, Bible-bashing role. What was the film? And then we have 4 choices: The Negotiator, Caveman's Valentine, Pulp Fiction, and A Time to Kill.
A Time to Kill. John Grisham. I'm pretty sure. No, that's not a Bible. You said Bible thumping?
Bible bashing.
Bible bashing. No, it can't be that. Because in that movie, he plays a dude whose daughter was like raped by these piece of shit dudes, and then he goes and kills those motherfuckers, and then he's on trial for that. So it's not A Time to Kill. What are the other options again?
So we had Pulp Fiction.
I don't think that would be it.
Caveman's Valentine and The Negotiator. Best Supporting Actor Oscar.
Oh,
Nominated for
okay.
a Best Supporting.
See, the Bible part's fucking me up.
Well, doesn't
like
he
well,
does,
it's in the Bible Belt, A Time to Kill, but The Negotiator I'm going to lock that in as my answer because I've never heard of the other one.
I have no idea.
Well, in Pulp Fiction, he does quote the Bible, if that's what they're trying to go for with this. But I don't know if he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, but I feel like there's a lot of like accidental phrases people say that were somewhere in the good book.
But he does quote the Bible.
Okay.
That's a famous thing. That's the big speech he gives in Pulp Fiction, is like quoting something from the Bible. I can't remember what the verse is or whatever you call it, however you refer to Bible things.
I'm gonna be honest. When I think Pulp Fiction, like him and
I mean, that seems like
he seems like but he seems more like the lead to me. When I think Pulp Fiction, like I think of him as
I think like if I think Pulp Fiction, I see Travolta.
Well, him and Travolta. But I would have called them both. Yeah, I would have called them both leads.
But you could argue Travolta's got a bit more of a role in that film. From the amount that I've seen, I don't want to.
Like every scene I can think of off the top of my head
John Travolta basket
it's like 2 out of 3 of them are John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson. I'm gonna stick with The Negotiator just because I already locked it in. It's too late for me to turn around.
The way you've been moving is I'm thinking Pulp Fiction though.
Like it's too. I already locked it in.
You shook your own argument.
Yeah, I locked myself in too fast.
Well, we could still change it.
No, I locked it in. That's not how it works.
Negotiator?
I locked it in. If you buzz on reach for the top, you got to answer.
That team sports suck.
I only ever played team sports, so I didn't have to take any of the blame. It's a team thing. There's no I in team.
But there isn't dipshit. Let's keep going.
All right, so question 4 is, in which film does Samuel L. Jackson play a man with a godlike name who forms an alliance with a man on the wrong end of a game of Simon Says? Do you guys need the options for this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so the first one is Die Hard with a Vengeance. Second option is...
Actually, you know what?
It is Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Isn't his name like Thor or something like that?
It's Zeus.
Okay, so I think
it's
we just...
That's why I asked if you guys needed the answer, because I know this one for sure, because it's also,
one of your top movies?
Well, Die Hard 3.
Yeah.
It's Die Hard 3. I know Die Hard 3. It is, they play Simon Says in it. That's where he runs around with.
Yes, okay.
And his name's Jesus.
I haven't seen the movie in forever.
Fair enough. That one just sticks out. I watched that a lot when I was younger because that was my that was actually one of my favorites. I think is my favorite of the Die Hards, I'd say. But anyways, next question, number 5 is, in which movie does Samuel star with Sandra Bullock, Kevin Spacey, and Matthew McConaughey? The Negotiator.
I'm expecting you to know the answer here, Andrew.
Oh fuck! No, that's a Time to Kill.
Okay, I was gonna say that's the last of our.
Because Sandra Bullock's the either like the second chair, as opposed to lead counsel, or she's like the paralegal. Samuel L. Jackson's the dude. Gorgeous ass Matthew McConaughey is the lead chair. And I feel like Kevin Spacey he's either like the DA or he's like the fucking like Grand Wizard guy.
Yeah, I've never seen this movie or even heard of it, so I don't know.
It's based off a John Grisham book, and he's my favorite author. So I better fucking know this shit.
Understandable. Okay, so Time to Kill. So now on to question 6. What is the name of the 4th film that Samuel made with Bruce Willis?
That's oddly
specific. The 4th film?
Yeah, it says the 4th film that he made with Bruce Willis, and it's one word. Is the
Was
name
it
of
Red? Was he in Red?
I don't think he was in Red because I know for sure that it
No,
was Morgan
no.
Freeman was
Yeah,
the
it was
star.
Morgan Freeman, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if he popped up in a secondary role in that I'm forgetting about, but I don't think so. I'm fairly certain he wasn't in that.
The fourth film.
Yeah. Well, I can only think of Die Hard with a Vengeance. It's the only one that's on the top of my head. I'm like, I don't know any other ones after that they appeared together in, so.
I'm trying to think of, like, one name fucking movies.
Yeah, that's the other fun part of this. And it's like, he has so many, like, IMDb credits. It's not like we could actually scroll
Yeah,
through
really.
it to
Like,
try
and
and
the fact that
find
he's with Bruce Willis in that many.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
More,
I
like...
I have no fucking clue, man. I can, like...
Yeah, no, I know
know.
what you mean. Any guesses
I got nothing.
from you?
Outside of Red,
Craig?
I got nothing.
I can't. I could not name outside of a Die Hard film. I could not name a movie they both appear in.
Yeah, that we're putting in Red, even though we know that's wrong. On to question 7.
How many questions was there?
There's 10.
Fuck yeah, okay.
So yeah, I kept it short, so that wasn't too crazy. And I didn't have to read too much because we know I struggle with that. Anyways, on to question 7. In which film did Samuel play a colonel in the U.S. Armed Forces who rescues an ambassador from a seized embassy in the Yemen? Yeah. So there's...
No.
What's the
We've got
what's the
4
history
options.
of the word? Okay, give us the options.
Yeah, well, Yemen. Well, the reason I gave that weird look that our audience members can see was I thought Yemen was a country, and so it says the embassy in the Yemen. The question was the way it was worded, and I was like, I don't know if that's just a misphrasing.
It's
Yeah,
a typo.
yeah, that's what I was guessing, but that's why I was also like, I wasn't 100% sure that Yemen was because I only know it because of Friends, and I think that's where Chandler told, what's her name, Janice, that he was moving.
Oh my god.
So our options for this one though are Caveman's Valentine, Fresh, Mob Justice, and Rules of Engagement. Rules of Engagement. That's my guess.
I don't think it's Rules of Engagement.
No? Okay.
Why not?
That's the only one that sounded like a one related to the armed forces.
Really?
Military based, yeah.
Actually, no.
Rules of Engagement.
I hear Rules of Engagement and immediately I think rom-com.
Yeah, no.
That's fair too.
I immediately picture a Scarlett Johansson rom-com where she's like engaged, but then he's going like...
Yeah, no, I get where you're going, but I think this is more so along the lines.
Is that what we're going with then?
That's my only guess. These other ones I've never heard of.
I'm locking it in.
Okay.
I'm taking my veto on the
He locked
on the
it
team
in.
side.
Okay. So we're on to question 8. In this film, Samuel only appeared at the end. His co-stars were an ex-doctor and a beautiful singer. Which film? Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace?
Nope.
Yes.
Deep Blue Sea, Out of Sight, or Mob Justice? So
Okay,
I know
repeat the question.
Okay.
Because it's not the first two.
Yeah, no, definitely not. So in which film? In this film, Samuel only appeared at the end. His co-stars were an ex-doctor and a beautiful singer. Which film? And so the last options were Out of Sight and Mob Justice.
A beautiful singer and an ex-doctor.
Yes.
See,
my guess is
Mob
Out
Justice like kind of sounds legit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the ex-singer could be like the girlfriend of one of the mobsters. She's like, I don't want to be with you. And then like
true.
Mob Doctor, like those
That's
type. And
true.
what was the other one?
The other one was Out of Sight, and what I was thinking was he's an eye doctor. But that was just for the joke purposes. I didn't have anything after that, so.
Man.
So I like that you had something ready for the Mob Justice. So I'm willing to throw my vote at Mob Justice just based off your. No objections. Okay, I was hoping these questions.
Yours is probably better, but.
You think Out of Sight's more? You think the ex-eye doctor meets a beautiful singer who's going
Out
blind?
of Sight. Okay, let's think this way though. It could be like they're trying to like keep out of sight. You know, like the mob's coming after them.
I like that we're sticking with the mob thing with both these ones.
Always the mob.
Like Mob Justice, that made sense, but Out of Sight, we're just assuming the mob's after them.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm okay with it. I don't have a better idea. I'm just trying to
coin in my
clarify.
pocket?
Yeah, it's a good way to go with
No
it.
coin. Son of a bitch.
Okay, so we're
Okay,
going with
rock,
mob
paper,
justice.
scissors. Is that what we're going with?
Well, Craig had said mob justice as well, so
Okay,
Sure.
let's go mob justice.
yeah, we'll move on to question 9. So in this film, Samuel plays a teacher who, after being stabbed, moves from a gang-ridden school in Brooklyn to a similar school on the West
Is
Coast.
that Coach Carter?
That's not one of the options, so I'm guessing
Fuck.
not. His character was Trevor Garfield. What was the film? So the
Okay.
options are 187 or 187.
That sounds like it could be area code.
Or a public school number.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with both. So the next one's The Great White Hype, Kiss of Death, and then Eve's Bayou?
Kiss of Death or Eve's. Okay, so what was the second one?
The Great White Hype.
Fuck, like I gotta go with 187. Like that's the only one that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I like that you both assigned it to like some kind of area code or something right away, so that made sense to me. 187?
That's what I'm going with.
Okay, one more question. So in this film, Samuel plays Mitch Hennessy, a private detective helping a woman with amnesia to discover her true identity. What is the film? Kiss of Death, Deep Blue Sea, The Long Kiss Goodnight, and The Negotiator. I think this is actually The Long Kiss Goodnight.
That sounds legit. The Negotiator doesn't make sense.
No.
Neither is Deep Blue Sea.
Definitely not
I
Deep
have
Blue
no
Sea.
idea.
Because I think I remember watching this movie with my dad actually when I was younger. Vaguely sounds familiar. So The Long Kiss Goodnight, and we'll submit our answers and see how well we did
Let's
on the
hope.
quiz. All right.
Let's hope for a 50.
What did we get out of 10? So we got the first one wrong. That was the Formula 51 was the name of it in the U.S. The correct answer was the 51st state.
Okay.
And now we know
Well,
what
we
it is.
also skipped over that because we didn't understand the question.
Yes, we
so.
did. And 42% of people have only answered that question correct, so we can feel a little good about that. We did get the Shaft question right.
Had to.
We did get the Negotiator wrong. It was Pulp Fiction that he was nominated for
Motherfucker.
best. Yeah. Then we also got Die Hard with a Vengeance right. A Time to Kill. We got right. Oh, I don't know how we forgot this. So the fourth film that Samuel made with Bruce Willis is Unbreakable.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't know how we missed that.
You know what? I totally forgot that, and then glass just slipped my mind. Like,
Yep.
all one word.
And Bruce Willis was in Pulp Fiction apparently as well.
Yeah, he was. He played not a boxer, but I remember him walking through like a boxing gym or boxing ring or something like that.
See, I forgot he was in Pulp Fiction, so I missed that one. And the first one was National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon.
Well, I've never seen that. So
Yeah,
I have.
I just mentioned it because it was listed underneath as a little.
That's not a one word.
Well, no, just the answer was
okay.
one
It was
word.
the first
fourth
one. Gotcha,
one.
gotcha.
Yeah. Those were just the other
Unbreakable.
films that they had done together.
I totally forgot about that movie.
So did I. I feel really dumb for forgetting that one too. We got Rules of Engagement correct about him being a colonel in the U.S. Armed Forces.
There we go.
We did get Mob Justice wrong. It was Out of Sight.
Motherfucker. I tried to talk myself out of it.
So at the end of this film, George Clooney is placed in the back of a prison van with Jackson, who, like Clooney's character, made a habit of breaking out of jail. And there's apparently like a sequel.
So wait, are we at 40%?
I'm thinking so, yeah. So far. I don't know, we'll get to the bottom. Okay, so the next question we got correct with 187.
Oh, that's a
sounds
pass. That's a 50.
Yep. And then we also got The Long Kiss Goodnight. So we got 6 out of 10.
We got a 60.
60%.
Does it give you an average? Like
so
what
the-
people like
7.
usually get? Motherfucker.
So we're one below the average.
We're a movie podcast and we're dumber than the average person.
The average quiz taker, we should say. though.
Okay.
This is a specific site. It's
That's
for
fair.
this funtrivia.com site, but I thought we did okay for those, considering those. I have not
Most
seen
of them we
a
haven't
good
seen.
chunk of these. Yeah, like the 51st State, Unbreakable. I have no excuse for, but a couple of the ones we got correct, like 187. I was like, yeah, I'm surprised we got that, and not surprised, but you know what I mean. I've never heard of that movie, so. But yeah, that's the Samuel Jackson quiz.
Nailed it. When you guys think Samuel L. Jackson, what's the first character that comes to mind for you outside of Nick Fury?
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, it's like the one that like kind of pops out, but I don't know the character's name or anything about him. It is.
Nope.
It's that image, that poster image of him like pointing, that sticks out to me. Does that make sense? Do you know which poster I'm talking about? Like the Pulp Fiction poster where he's like pointing, and that's when he's shouting the Bible verses, I believe. It's that, and then Mace Windu sticks out because
that's pretty good.
That was part of my childhood. But Nick Fury is obviously a really big one of the last 10 years at least that sticks out for us.
Yeah.
In particular, I wrote down Snakes on a Plane just because that one. Again, it's one of those ones where I can think of him as a lead without any other like big star in it. You know what I mean? But it also wasn't that big a hit. But it also came out when we were at that right age where we're like, yeah, we'll go see a stupid Snakes on a Plane. That's like the best idea ever. The execution wasn't great, but they promised me snakes. Yeah, they said Snakes on a Plane. Barely got snakes on the plane, but whatever. But what about you, Andrew? What sticks out for you besides Nick Fury?
Honestly, the first one that pops into my head when I think Nick Fury,
or Samuel L. Jackson, not Nick Fury.
Or Nick Fury. No, they're one and the same.
They are.
They're one and the same.
They modeled him after, like before in the comics. They modeled the character after him before he even had the role. So that's not a common thing.
No, probably Mace Windu. Or Lucius on The Incredibles.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't even think of that one because it doesn't stick out as much because it's an animated role. But
maybe Jurassic Park, but outside of that, like a lot of them, like he's in Patriot Games. How the fuck do I forget that? He's in Patriot Games.
Yeah, that's can't help you there. So sure.
Or like the Goodfellas. I love me some mobster movies. How do I forget about that?
Yeah, I think it's just his franchise ones do overwhelm a lot of his other roles he plays. Like when I'm looking through, doing a quick scroll through his list right now. He does
Deep Blue Sea. He wasn't around very long. He got eaten.
He does have a memorable exit in that scene though, or in that movie.
Shaft,
Shaft. Of course,
we know he's Shaft.
That's the reason we're doing this episode. Is
because Shaft comes out this week.
No, it's already out.
It's already out, yeah.
Yeah, last weekend.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But, yeah, so Shaft, that's obviously one that sticks out. That's, again, one he's the lead of that sticks out. But even that one kind of falls into a franchise film now because...
because they did the original Shaft with, who was it, Richard Roundtree?
I can't say for sure.
And then him, and now they've got, like, third-generation Shaft?
Yeah, that they brought in for this new one, it seems, so... It's... technically a franchise, but he fits well into franchises, I feel, though, because you get him to be just Samuel L. Jackson as a certain role, and that fits well, because he's also in The Kingsman, technically. He dies, but, It
was Richard Roundtree, by the way.
Okay.
I also like the fact that they have 3 Shaft movies that I know of, 3 Shaft movies, and they're all just called Shaft. They all, somehow intertwine. Richard Roundtree's the grandpa now, and then, Samuel L. Jackson is the son, and then the grandson is the new guy.
Yeah.
They're all just called Shaft. I like that very much.
Yeah, no, I agree. Why switch it up?
Yeah, why fuck around? Why be like, Shaft 2, the slappening, or something like that? Just call it Shaft, because that's what it is.
That's what it is.
He was in The Fucking Man. How did I forget about The Man?
Oh, The Man's a great one. Him and Eugene Levy running around.
Gotta love good old Toronto, Detroit.
Damn, how did I forget that one?
Didn't you just talk about this a couple months ago?
I watched it not that long ago. I spent the first half of the movie trying to pick out the Toronto skyline.
Yeah, and you found it.
I did. I found a lot of Toronto hits, to be completely honest. They didn't hide it very well in that movie.
I forgot that he was the narrator for Farce of the Penguins. One of those movies, why the fuck did anyone make this?
I never heard of that. I'm scrolling through the list. I forgot he was in another franchise, the Triple X franchise, as the head of the Triple X division. That's probably actually one of my very earliest
Son of a
productions
bitch.
to him was that movie. He's also
I can't get past this friggin' Farce of the Penguins. I've seen it once. Back in the day. Probably when 2006, so just when it came out. Would be about 13.
yeah.
And it's got a pretty decent cast. Now Samuel L. Jackson's the narrator. We got Allison Hannigan as the haughty penguin. Bob Saget as Carl. Brie Larson is I Need a Z-Pack penguin. Oh, another thing that they work together in. Carlos Mencia is Juan Sanchez. Dave Coulier is There's No Snow penguin. John Stamos is What's Global Warming penguin. Oh man, there's just everything's got ridiculous names. Jodie Sweetin's He's So Gross penguin. Lori Laughlin's Melvin Smackin' penguin. Jason Biggs is Insecure penguin.
The cast of Full House does Penguin.
Pretty much. Jim Belushi is They're All Bitches penguin. Whoopi Goldberg's Helen. Damon Wayans is Hey, That's My Ass penguin. Jason Alexander's Penguin on Belly. These are ridiculous names.
Yeah,
It was directed by Bob Saget, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Steve the Owl, No Personality penguin. Gilbert Gottfried plays Freezing Nuts penguin. Dane Cook was the online penguin. At this point, I'm hoping to see Jason Mantzoukas just as Crazy Penguin or something.
Tracy Morgan, Jason Alexander, Dane
J-
Cook, Lewis Black.
John Lovitz, My Eyes Are Up Here penguin. Norm Macdonald is Join Twosomes penguin. So he's just the guy who tries to join threesomes. Sounds like make threesomes. Sounds like penguin. Jeff Ross is a funny-looking bastard. Not even just in the movie, in real life. Monique is Vicky, because some people don't need fun names. Yeah, interesting. Anyways, back to Shaft, a.k.a. Samuel L. Jackson.
yeah.
I almost said Nick Fury.
It's all the same in a sense. A lot of his roles kind of mesh together. I was just scrolling through the list some more, and I'm like, he's been in so many movies too. I've just never ever heard of.
I forgot he was the narrator in Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, that was one I was.
The other guys, he's that cop.
For the few
PK
seconds.
Highsmith.
Yeah. For
See you on the
minutes.
ground.
I forgot he was in SWAT too, or SWAT, not SWAT 2.
Well, he's a
in
sergeant at SWAT, isn't he?
Yeah, I forgot though. That's what I'm saying. He just blends in so many of these roles where I'm like, oh yeah, you're a law enforcement dude. Snakes on a Plane in that he's law enforcement, and where's another one? I saw another one where he's law enforcement. There's a Would-Be franchise I just remembered that he is in. In Jumper, he's the villain.
Jumper. Which one's Jumper?
That's the one with what's his name? Hayden Christensen. Is that Anakin?
Jumper.
That's the one where where he has the jumping powers. Not Samuel. Samuel Jackson's hunting the people with the jumping powers, which is, Anakin Skywalker. That's Hayden Christensen, right? Christian Haydenson? It is. What is his name?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hayden Christensen. Did I say it the reverse the first time?
I think you were right the first time.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what? I got this movie confused with... what's the one? There's one that's kind of like it. Looper. Where they send back... who the fuck is in Looper?
That's Bruce Willis.
Is that Bruce Willis? Where they send him back to kill himself?
Yeah, they send
and
back...
then he ends up killing himself?
No, he tries to kill... No. Oh, yeah. His younger self kills
his younger
his older
self kills him, yeah.
Yeah. Played by Joseph
Gordon-Levitt, yeah.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, yeah.
You about to say Jason?
Yep. But I know it's Joseph. But Jason was going to come out of my mouth. And I think it's because you said Jason Mantzoukas before.
We should just do a Jason Mantzoukas episode. Basically just talk about how he's crazy and everything.
I love how every time we do an actor episode, we decide on doing another one after this.
Yeah. We'll get there. There's lots of actors. There's lots of options.
No, there is. It's just, I think it's funny because how we started this episode was, yeah, we're just going to say, oh, that was a good one. And we've gone to that part of this episode.
I stand by it.
This is Forgot to Grow Up.
Luckily.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. So
Outside of he is in a lot of things, he's a good actor and he exists. I don't think there's much more we can say. We clearly didn't know enough about him based off of our movie results. He is in fucking everything.
He's in a lot. In 183 acting credits as of right now. I see like 10 projects in development along the side. Old Man, The Blob, an untitled Grumpy Old Men project.
Wait, they're making another The Blob?
That's what it says here.
Get the fuck out of here.
Projects in development. There's an Afro Samurai still coming out again.
Shaft 27? God damn it. And he still hasn't made it into the Fast and Furious franchise. I'm sure it's coming, though.
Well, Hobbs and Shaw comes out in another month. We could see him.
He could be like Idris Elba's like uncle or something like that.
It's all about that show. That thing is all about family, so it would fit.
Yeah. When Idris Elba ends up dying, it'll be like when what's his face? Jason Statham shows up to like avenge his brother.
Exactly.
Fucking Jesus Christ, those movies are awful.
You'll get no argument from me on that.
They're so bad, they're good, but they're so bad.
Yeah. No, I grew up with the original ones. My dad loved watching those, and he's the type of guy who keeps this franchise going. Love you, Dad.
Someone has to. Just kidding. That was ruthless. I meant like someone has to like keep up the franchise. I was just a little bit behind because I'm over here creeping on the internet. And now it sounds like I don't like your dad.
Well, the funny thing is...
Sorry, Brad.
That's what I would say to my dad in person, though. But that's because I could laugh it off with him in person, whereas via the podcast doesn't come off that way. But I don't even know if he listens. Probably not. Anyways.
Well, if you do...
Yeah.
That's not what I meant, Brad, okay?
But shall we move on to what we watched this week then, gentlemen?
Sounds like a plan to me.
Well, Craig, you've been quite quiet for the Samuel L. Jackson section, so why don't you start us off?
Can you hear me is the first question.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you also see me?
This is Clem Fandango. Can you hear me? Unfortunately, I didn't watch that.
God damn it.
I watched a lot of Shark Tank.
Of course.
I'm at the point now where I am of the belief that it's the same show every single episode.
Yep.
And so I'm about done with Shark Tank.
That's about where I fell off, I would say. When it starts to get to where it's like a lot of like pretty established companies where they're mainly coming on for the marketing boost and not the not the need of an investor or something.
You can tell. It's like, what do you need the money for? I just need you guys. Yeah, you just needed to be on the show.
Yeah, and that's where I got off because I was like, no, I want the people who need guidance from actual. Like that's where I preferred Dragon's Den over Shark Tank was because it felt like they were actual mentors as opposed to like, oh, this is a very business transactional way they do it on Shark Tank. Like they've got whole companies devoted to handling their Shark Tank companies that they invest in. So it's, yeah.
I will continue enjoying Dragon's Den, but Shark Tank will get a no from me.
Yeah, I fell off both of them so long ago already, but.
I also watched Jurassic Park.
Yes, we got a little hint to that earlier.
Spoilers.
Which is when I realized that Samuel L. Jackson was in it because I was watching it and I was like, "Is that Samuel L. Jackson?"
Yes.
And I figured I'd find out today, so I did.
And you did, yes. That's I can't fault you for that because I had forgotten he was in it until the most recent Jurassic Park actually came out, and that's what part of what refreshed it was part of going back and rewatching those for when. Jurassic World came out. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot he was in this for 5 minutes. Same with Newman, who's I really should learn that actor's name one of these days, but he'll always be Newman.
You mean what's his name? Stan
Podlack.
Stan Podlack. That's what it was.
Yeah. It's not Newman. Is what you're saying?
No.
It's
Stan
also not
Podlack's
Stan Podlack.
No. Because that's a Space Jam reference.
Oh right.
Wayne Knight is the name.
That's it. You know what? He's also the voice Oh, fuck. God damn, it's gonna bug me. Now I gotta go.
He's been in a bunch of stuff that's like a supporting actor role. Especially,
Yeah, he's very good at that.
yeah. He has a good element of like comic relief, the goofy, klutzy guy. That's what I at least think of him as, but that's a lot of
Well,
that's a lot of Space
You
Jam
know
in
what?
there.
He was in. Oh fuck! What was it? It was a show I watched recently. I talked about it a while ago. Upstart. That's what it was. He's briefly in it as like some millionaire guy who owns his own company, and then he's just like invests in the Upstart.
Okay.
He's there briefly, and I was like, "Oh shit, he's still acting."
When
Let's
he
go creep his page.
Dirty Dancing.
Yes, he's in Stretch Armstrong and the Flex Fighters. If anyone cares about that,
Well, that's an animated, so that'd be a voice.
Yeah.
That's on Netflix. I actually
he was
thought
in
I would check it out.
Narcos as Alan Starkman. I didn't watch that show, but he's
Neither
there.
did I. Did any of us
Benny
watch
Blush,
Narcos?
that's his name.
No,
No, not me.
he was in
Coke is not my thing.
Kung Fu Panda.
Big
That sounds
fun.
right.
Did an episode of How I Met Your Mother.
Motherfucker, he's in Hail Caesar. How did I forget about that? You say he was an extra in How I Met Your Mother?
He was in an episode of How I Met Your Mother.
Who was he in How I Met Your
That's
Mother?
what I'm trying to think of.
He was Lily's landlord for a single episode.
Oh,
He was on Third Rock from the Sun for its entire run.
I don't remember that. Clearly he is forgettable, not unforgettable. He was Dr.
101 episodes.
He was the overweight customer whose pants are caught on fire in American Dad.
He was in 45 episodes of Seinfeld.
Yeah, well, that makes
That's
sense.
it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
They
he was just a
well,
recurring
Newman
character.
actually was like, I'm pretty sure he was an older guy, like the first couple seasons before they rewrote him to be Wayne Knight.
Oh, okay. That's
Because
interesting.
they keep referencing how like
Oh,
he's
right,
trying to
like the
kill
white-
himself.
Like the white-haired guy. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
he's trying to kill himself, and Kramer's like, "Oh, just do it already, Newman." And then like they just rewrite it so that he's a postman in the same building.
Yeah.
Just like they did with Jerry's dad, who the first season they kept talking about how he was bald with a comb over, and he never gave that up. And then you're like, "Oh, okay." And all of a sudden, the next season, he's got a full fucking head of hair. Or with George Costanza's dad, he was like a fucking old guy, like he was like senile old. And then the next season, they're like, "Never mind, we got the better guy."
Guy from King of Queens.
Yeah, we got Ben Stiller's dad.
Yeah.
Really?
The other Stiller
We
guy.
got, was his name Marty Ball or something like that?
Yeah. On.
Was it Marty? Something Ball. Anyways,
Can't help you with this, guys.
I can't remember. Just a second.
Zoolander.
Jerry Stiller is his name.
Yeah, Jerry. That's what it was.
Is he actually Ben Stiller's dad?
He
Yeah,
is actually Ben Stiller's dad.
Oh, that's crazy. That's cool.
yeah. Him
tell
and
by
his
the-
wife were a comedy troupe before.
And they look the same.
Well, now that you say that, I can see it. It's just I never thought of it. That's
He
interesting.
was-
Huh. That's cool.
Artie Ball? No.
The things you
Just a
learn.
second. Zoolander 2 is Maury.
Maury. That's what it was. I knew it was like an old white guy name.
Is it supposed to be? Jewish?
I can't turn left.
Hey, he was in Seinfeld. Looking up.
He
Jerry
played
Stiller, trying to find old
Abner Gazar in Justice League Unlimited. He played Gary the Rat, or he played Gary's rival on Gary the Rat.
He was in.
He
the
did quite a bit of
X-Men show.
voice work. Oh, he's fucking Tantor. How did I forget about that from Tarzan?
I'm not really great at remembering the voice
Do you have
acting
voices?
stuff.
Oh
You don't
my
have a
god,
face to
he was the
associate it to.
he was the microwave on the Brave Little Toaster Goes to Mars. Oh, that was like one of my favorite movies growing up.
Yeah, no, we've
Like
talked about it a
childhood
few
animated
times.
movies.
Yeah, we talked about it a
Childhood
couple
movies
times.
are a lot harder to. They're a lot harder to remember the voices.
Yeah, especially because when
That's
we
fair.
watched
You
Yeah.
don't
them,
have
yeah.
a frame of reference.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Or didn't even care when you were younger. Like I remember
Exactly.
I remember when I started to care, and it definitely started with like Arnold Schwarzenegger movies and stuff like that. Like, yeah.
Well, now I'm going to creep the Brave Little Toaster now to find out who the fuck else. John Lovitz was the radio. How did I miss that one? Jesus Christ.
Because you didn't know who that was when you saw the movie first.
Yeah, but I watched that movie like 3 years ago.
Okay, I can't give you an excuse for that. I haven't seen it since we were kids.
Okay, Brave Little Toaster to the rescue. Who's in this one? Anyone I recognize? Okay. Okay, this one I get a pass on. Oh, Jay Moore was in it. Actually, you know what? I knew that one. He's Mac. He's the... Okay, yeah, I knew that one. Doing one of his weird voices. Okay, yeah. Weird tumble from, like, talking about Samuel L. Jackson to Wayne Knight to Jay Moore. We're getting everybody pregnant. It's like one of like 3 bits Jay Moore does that I can remember.
It's not even his, like...
Well, no, it's his Tracy Morgan impersonation. Getting everybody pregnant. Boy pregnant.
The fact that I knew that without having seen that at all is a testament both to your talent and his. The last
Not
thing
Tracy
on my
Morgan's,
list,
though.
no. The last thing on my list is I watched the 2nd episode of the new season of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. At this pace, I'll probably be done it before they cancel the show again.
So next season.
Yeah.
What's the 2nd episode?
It's the one where they do Hitchcock and Scully's
Origin story,
which I really liked those, like that
Alan
part
Ritchson
of it.
and the other guy. Yeah.
I liked that part of it, but the episode in the middle was pretty dull.
No, I like that they like the way they tie it up, like how they got fat and lazy because of wing sluts.
It's such a easy, stupid way to do it. But
Yeah.
it's
Be like they used to be the best, and now they're
what
not.
I want out of the show is something ridiculous.
I was talking to someone about it. I forget who it was. One of my customers, it had to have been. But we were talking about it, and he didn't like that they show other like flashbacks in previous seasons, back to like the 70s or whatever, and it just Hitchcock with like a toupee on. And then they flash back to this, and it's like 2 gorgeous guys, and I was like, it's a comedy. Like, you're allowed to fuck up your flashbacks in comedies that there's really no solid continuity.
Yeah, you can't hold...
Like, it's not like whatever... Yeah, like, there's not much that happens, like, the end of this season carries forward to next. It's just, they cliffhang you, and then that's where it picks up next season, and that is it. Like, all the lessons learned along the way don't matter outside of relationships.
That's why it's a sitcom, a situation comedy. You get in situations that create comedy. It does, like, outside of that, it doesn't matter. Like
at the end of season 1, when Boyle and Gina hook up, and you're like, what the fuck? Didn't see that coming. And then that just turns into a joke. Like, other than a few episodes in season 2, they don't really reference it. Like, it's just, like, they don't show you it anyways. Then it just becomes is my former lover. Hello, sister. Like, just that weird bit. Like, it's just stuff to push the story along. That's it.
Yeah, that's all sitcoms are.
Hopefully you finish it. There's a really good, ticking time bomb episode near the end of it.
Okay. I'll get there eventually. It's just... It's so slow. It doesn't keep me as entertained as it used to.
They also bring back Kevin, because it's a binge show. You can't just watch one episode. You have to binge it in order to like get fully into it.
All the other seasons I wanted to watch.
That's fair. They did change quite a bit in this one.
Yeah.
Like, they do tackle a few more political things, and they also... Kendall's kind of thought it was funny, and I like the lines, but in the show I didn't like it. They swear a lot more, but they do it for like the bleep out swear, like what the fuck, just so they can bleep it out. Like, there's one line in a later episode where it's usually Rosa who says it. It's either Rosa or actually Santiago says it a couple times, but it's either Rosa or Hitchcock. Hitchcock has one, I forget what the word they're using is, but he's like, you guys said we couldn't say that. Oh, you guys said we couldn't say this instead, and it was like beep the whole time, and you don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah.
But the best with Rosa is, like, Amy's giving her a speech, like, you can't spell this without this. And she's like, yeah, well, you can't spell go fuck yourself without fuck you. And that's a funny-ass line. Didn't like it in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but I like the line.
Yeah, I'm going to have to write that one down.
Yeah.
That is all I watched this week, though.
Well, Scott, you said you had a pretty short list, too, didn't you?
Yes, I have a very short list.
Go nuts, my man.
Okay, so I saw 1 movie and 2 TV shows this past week.
Hot damn.
Would you want to start with the movies or the TV? Movie or TV?
Let's start with TV.
So TV, I watched the new season of Jessica Jones, season 3, the last Marvel Netflix television series show.
How bad was it?
I wouldn't say it was bad. It just wasn't good. It was just kind of meh. It had a lot of the same problems all the Netflix Marvel series have had, which is it was 13 episodes, so it was too long.
Start hot, then do a couple episodes where they're like trying to like reboot it. And then finish it.
They repeated themselves a couple times. Like there was a whole episode where it's like you just go back and you're following what's her name, Trish, her, like
okay, yeah,
her day. And so it's like, okay, you see a lot of the same like interactions she had with Jessica, but they play the full scenes out. So it's like, well, no, you already showed me that in the last episode. I get we're now seeing the day from her perspective, from a different perspective, because it's, Jessica Jones one day, then it'll be Trish another day. But it's also like, well, no, I don't need you to repeat the full scene. Like you can just lead into that scene and then edit ahead of it. So I don't have to rewatch, because I rewatched at least 3 conversations she and, Trisha and Jessica Jones have, because they decided to like reframe it in a different episode so that you see it from like a different way, and you're like, oh yeah, I have a little more information now, but it's like, but I remember the conversation. I just watched the episode like just 30 minutes ago. So
it sounds like half-assed writing to me. Like they're just like, we need to fill the time.
Yeah,
let's do this, rather than being like, here it is, let's tie this all together in an interesting way.
Yeah.
Rather than being like Psych, where they hide the character in the episode somewhere, and you're like, ooh, what's going on?
Yeah, this one definitely suffered from them forcing it to be a 13-episode season and filling in a couple episodes with them just...
10 is perfect. 10 is what they do for every other Netflix show.
Yeah.
Why the fuck does the Marvel stuff have to be 13?
Couldn't tell you. I don't know. Maybe it's their way of like squeezing in the action, but like this one was still...
And who really asked for a 3rd season of Jessica Jones?
Somebody did.
It wasn't me.
Yeah. It was okay. It's
Daredevil was pretty much the only thing that kind of like deserved a 3rd season, and even then it kind of started hot and ended bleh.
Yeah. Well, after like the Defenders kind of fizzled out, most of the shows have just been like.
I think they dove into that too fast. I think they should have like built up to that as like it be the final thing. Like,
well, see, that would have worked.
Keep
out
doing the dabbling,
yeah.
like where they know each other, but then like as the final Netflix show, just be like, here's the Defenders, now let's wrap the shit up.
Yeah, I was hoping they would do that with Jessica Jones, because they knew it, like they were finishing filming as they were canceling all the other shows. So it was like, you guys could squeeze something in, and they do, like, spoiler, squeeze Luke Cage in the last episode of the season. But that's it. I was hoping, like, and you see him, and I was hoping, like, the whole episode would be her getting visited by each of the Defenders, and then each giving her some advice. And I would have loved that, and that would have been a great way to end the entire, like, Netflix.
Kind of like Luke
Marvel
Cage,
things.
where they're like, here's Randy, here's Danny for the last, 2 out of the last 3 episodes.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool. You get to see a little bit of a friendship there.
Exactly. So I like, and that's why Luke Cage shows up, obviously, on Jessica Jones, because that's how his character was originally introduced.
Yeah.
They have that connection, but it's still, like, again, it's very brief. They just have a quick conversation. So that's why I was hoping after they had that conversation that it was going to be like, oh, yeah, Matt's going to show up next. And, maybe.
Was
Danny
Claire in it at all?
No. That was again.
Because she was kind of like the initial spark for all of them.
Yeah. And yeah, no, she didn't show up at all. It was very.
Rosario Dawson is just too busy, I guess.
Probably. Or just didn't want to do it. Or they just have room for her, too. Because they just. Like, as it is, they're following around too many characters because they've got the lawyer being a pretty big role in this season, too. Like, we follow a lot of her, like, because she's dealing with ALS. And so you're just seeing a lot of her problems and her rekindling a relationship. And it's just like, okay, it just was long and slow. That's where it was bad. But I wouldn't call it bad because it's also that's kind of what it wants to be because it's got that film noir like
Yeah.
kind of feel. So it's like, yeah, you're gonna be lingering and we're gonna hang out and watch her do a bunch of stakeouts. So I can't hate on that stuff, but some of the story elements I just felt like were unnecessary for this. So I was just like, okay. But yeah, that's the end of that. We'll see if Marvel does a better job with their Hulu and Marvel Plus shows. Yeah, so I watched that over the weekend, and I've been watching. Do you got the other TV show I watched, or the movie next?
Give us the other TV show.
Okay.
Might as well.
So I've been rewatching Legion, this because the third season comes out next Monday. So I've been rewatching the first season this week. I'm gonna be about to start the second season tomorrow. I've been making some YouTube videos for that as well, but I'm just trying to get recaught up. It's cool to like put pieces together, but also it's funny because I've only seen the series once, so like things that I thought I remember about the show aren't quite as correct.
Turns out you're Legion. You're like, whoa.
A little bit sometimes. That's how it feels sometimes. I'm like, oh, my memory's not exactly the right, like remembering everything exactly the way it happened. So that's what I like about rewatching certain series is you get to rediscover it. And Legion is one of those ones you, like if you look at your phone for like a second, you might miss something in the show. So that's why it's great to rewatch and just have to sit and focus. But that's also part why it's the only other TV show I watched this week is because it just, you have to focus on it. You can't be cooking and doing other stuff while you're watching it. So yeah. So been doing that. And then the movie I watched was Men in Black International. I went and saw that in theaters.
How bad was it? It looks so corny.
I
Like
think
it's trying to be so much more than it needs to be.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It was just okay. It was
like the first Men in Black was like it was just a few jokes, just enough while also being like a serious tone.
Yeah.
The second one kind of got a little bit cornier. The third one was pretty corny. And I feel like now they're just like, let's make a bunch of jokes. Like,
yeah, you're not wrong.
What's his name? Kumail Nanjiani? Is that his name?
Kamel.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Is he like the replacement Frank? Like is this weird
Pretty
little
much.
alien knight character like the replacement for Frank?
In a sense, yeah. Just a wisecracking alien there to give
Just
a little
there
bit
for
of
jokes?
sass. Exactly, that's all he's there for.
Fuck me.
He's just literally he's like a straight man, so he's just making all these like kind of very obvious kind of observations about shit. They end up being kind of funny. They're all right, but like, yeah, no, it wasn't great. It was I won't call it bad, but it's an okay like Men in Black movie. And just an
So
okay
something
movie.
to watch when it gets on Netflix, and that's about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend going to see it if you weren't planning on seeing it, or if you're not excited to go see it. Like I went and checked it out because I wanted to.
I'm really not. Like
Yeah.
by the fourth movie in the franchise, I'm kind of like, ugh.
Yeah, I just wanted to see how I almost call him Thor, Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thomas. Like I love them as a duo, so they were great too. Like I can't fault either of them. It's just the story was kind of bland.
Use like her normal accent.
Yeah,
because Tessa Thompson's like actually American.
Yeah, which I've never known, but yeah, so they had a great chemistry, and like that was a great like. It's nice to see those two, and they were I can't say anything bad about them. It was just the story was kind of meh. Like 15 minutes in, I knew the whole plot, and nothing about the movie surprised me after that point because they set up things really obviously, and they like certain things.
Is Liam Neeson the bad guy?
Spoiler alert. Yeah, you got
Fucking
it. You nailed it. You nailed it.
You can tell from the trailer. You
Yep.
can tell from the trailer. You're like, okay, like he's clearly got something going on. Like he's a little too much of like a serious guy.
Exactly.
When everything else is kind of goofy.
Yeah, no, you nailed it. You got it right on the spot. That's why.
Is he one of those like shape-shifting aliens that like took that form?
Kind of, in a sense. Yep. You pretty much got it.
I just saved you guys like $15.
Yeah, or 17
Closer to
in my
70
case.
closer to 70 if it's date night.
Yeah, it was $17 for me, and I was very upset about that because I wanted to go to the early one, and that was only AVX, and not worth it. But
Not at all.
what are you gonna do? Tax write-off? Not really, but
Nope. No, you don't get to claim business write-offs, buddy. That's my shtick.
No, not yet. That's what we're doing this for. Advertisers, give us money.
$1.
Let me write off
Something.
these terrible movie tickets I pay for.
Pay $17 for.
Sometimes I do want to go ask for a refund for like, hey, I paid for a ticket for
Joey,
this.
you can do that like up to a certain point in the movie, though.
I know that. No, I meant more so. This is actually another problem I've been having with going to the movies lately, which is you get there on the time it's supposed to start, and then it starts a half an hour later because they have to show you a half an hour of ads and trailers and shit.
No. It's half an hour of car ads. Be specific.
Car and pop
Car
ads.
ads.
Car and
Yep.
pop ads. Soda
All
ads.
Coke.
Yeah, all Coke, exactly. And then a couple trailers, like you get 3 trailers, and I'm like, why are we starting a movie a half an hour late? Like, my movie experience, I've complained about this so many times, but my movie experience ends up being 4 hours to see an hour and a half movie because they give an extra half an hour.
Fuck you, Tanner Z.
Just
fuck you.
Yeah, I fucking hate that guy. Like, it's just so annoying because it's like, okay, come on. Like, you're making me pay $17 to watch fucking ads. Like, even YouTube doesn't charge you that much for freaking YouTube Premium if you don't want to watch their ads. Like, and you can watch YouTube for free if you don't want ads. And you pay Netflix because you don't. It's so annoying. I don't want your fucking cars. And I don't want your. Well, I do drink Coke, but that's another thing. It's a whole other problem we're not going to discuss. But yeah, so that's all I watched this week, guys. It was a short week / some cooking shows, but we won't get into those. I just remember those as I was talking. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what was filling in the blanks in between. Like when I was cooking food, I was like watching a cooking show too. But yeah. Andrew, what did you watch this week?
Well, this is the first time in a long time that I have a longer list than you guys.
Alrighty.
You ready for me to dive in?
Yes, sir.
I watched Transformers 2 and Transformers 3 at the shop over the last week because those movies are absolutely terribly fantastic.
Okay.
They're so bad, but they're so good. Alan Tudyk kicks fucking ass in the third one by just being there.
Is it the third one? I thought it was
Yes,
in the
third
last
one.
night one.
No, he's in the third one.
Okay.
He plays the like the former agent guy. Like in the first one, he plays the agent of whatever the name of the group was, Sector 7. Or
Okay.
whatever it was. That guy,
Yeah.
he becomes like a millionaire by like writing books and stuff, or like writing a book about it.
Right. I was getting.
So then he hires Alan Tudyk's character, whose name is Dutch.
Yeah. Now I'm remembering the connection here. Yeah.
He's
Yep.
like Dutch Hoot, because he has like secret he's like Jason Bourne. Like they go to meet these shady ass Russians, and then they pull guns on them, and Dutch just like takes the guns off people and sticks them in their face, and you're like, whoa, didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I haven't watched Transformers 3 in so long, but
It's worth like the final 30-second fight scene is worth the 2
I don't know
hours
about
and
that.
15-minute build up.
see, and that's the exact like conversation I have with myself anytime I think about watching the Transformers, which is, do I want to
The
watch
final
2
fight
hours
scene-
for the
final
fight?
Optimus fight scene in all of them is the best.
Oh, yeah.
Like the only one that kind of sucked was the first one, where it was like them fighting and just like them kind of panning through Sam, and then him just shoving the Allspark into Megatron's chest.
Yeah, that one was a little lame.
That's kind of lame.
Yeah.
But then the second one is so good when Optimus like punches out the Fallen's heart after coming back to life, stealing Jetfire's body to give him his new sweet ass trailer with his flight tech.
Yeah, which they never talk about. That's like, it's a little fucked up. It's like, what if I like killed some dude and then took his arms and put it on my back?
He doesn't kill him though. Like Jetfire's literally like, oh, I finally lived to see a prime. Take my body, and like pulls his own heart out.
That's fair. That's
Like he kills himself, and then they're like, what the fuck? So then they like hook up these jumper cables and like power fuse him, give him some sweet ass wings, and then he just goes and just fucking blows shit up, and then punches out the Fallen's heart and says, I rise, you fall, and then just like squishes it in his hands just in case somehow the Fallen survives without like his spark.
Yeah, no, I'm recalling that part now.
So good. And then the third one, he's fighting not Vector Prime. Fuck, this is gonna piss me off. whatever his name was, the older Prime, his former mentor. Like, I want to call him, like, I was thinking Vector Sigma, but that's not it.
Yeah, I can't help you on this one.
It's gonna piss me off. It's Leonard Nimoy. Anyways, so they're fighting, and then he's getting his ass kicked. Fucking Optimus is getting his ass kicked by an old man. Granted, Optimus has been fighting already up to this point. Like, he's been killing people, wasting them. He almost died like twice.
And that old robot's literally like sleeping for 1,000 years.
Yeah. So this old robot, like, he's just standing there, and he's got this sweet ass like double blade. They fight, and he cuts off Optimus's arm, like stabs it through, and just like slices his arm off. And me as a Sentinel, that's it. So they're fighting, and then Megatron like gets talked into going in by Carly. Yeah. Gets talked into like going and taking down Sentinel because Sentinel's clearly going to be the alpha because he fucking is, like, he's a badass. And so Megatron like comes running in with his gun, fights him, like kind of punches his helmet off and injures him badly. And then it's up to like injured Megatron to fight injured Optimus. And Megatron's like, what would we be without each other? So Optimus hits him with it's time to find out. They fight for like 2 seconds, and then Optimus takes his axe arm and pulls off Megatron's head. Yep. Like, just straight up hooks the jaw over the shoulder, just rips his head off. Optimus doesn't fuck around. He will take you out.
Yeah, he's cold as fuck. Like,
I'm
he's
fairly
all about
confident
protecting humans, but fucking Transformers, he'll literally rip their fucking faces off.
Yeah, legit. Like, he shot whatever the fuck Craig just said his name was. Sentinel Prime, right in the chest. Like, bam, you dead. Ripped off Megatron's head, punched out the Fallen's heart. Like, I'm pretty sure he like shoots Megatron in the face in the second one.
Yep.
In the fifth one, like the last Transformers movie, he literally just, like, out of like a flying planet, he just kicks Megatron out like a window. He's just like, just kicks him out. Toast. Like, I'm fairly confident Optimus Prime's kill count is higher than Megatron's will ever be.
That's very possible.
Like, it's hilarious to think about it, like, backwards and be like, Megatron's literally the only one who's trying to, like, save his people.
Yeah, well,
like, he's trying to do his thing, but then Optimus is like, no, die. If you're not one of us, die.
We're gonna protect these things that just can be squished by us.
Yeah, these things that don't even, like, they use us.
They use us to drive them around.
Yeah, literally. But, it's just so cool. That 30-second fight is just, it's worth it. Like, when he rips the guy's head, it's so good.
Yeah, I'll YouTube
so
it.
good. Yeah, like, just skip the movie. Just watch that. So I watched those. I watched The Dark Knight Rises, because Aiden wanted to watch that.
Right on.
Still not my favorite set of Batman movies, but...
Nah, but what are you going to do?
I hate that Christian Bale is, like, every non-Batman fan's favorite Batman. Because, like, as a Batman fan... He has the highest kill count, for sure.
Definitely,
like,
is up there.
By, like, a significant amount.
Yep.
And, like, in The Dark Knight Rises, he literally looks Bane in the face and says, you're going to tell me, and then you have my permission to die. Like, Batman doesn't say that shit.
Yeah, no, Batman just,
like,
beats you up and then sends you to prison.
Batman will bust you up, but
you'll always be alive after.
Yeah, like, he's going to break your arm. He's going to shatter your collarbone, and then he's going to drop you off at the hospital and probably pick up the tab later. Because Bruce Wayne's a gangster.
Yep.
Like, this Bruce Wayne is like, you have my permission to die. Whoa.
Dark man.
No, thank you.
Are you Damien all of a sudden?
Yeah, really, like, probably. So actually, that would be a neat twist if they brought it back. It turns out that the Al Ghul bitch he hooked up with was pregnant. You're like, oh, damn.
Oh, snap.
His baby dead. Like, she had time to get pregnant. It took 23 days from when they took the thing to the other. Like, that's pretty close to a cycle.
I'm not disagreeing.
Plus, like, all the time before that, like, she could have been.
Yeah, no, I agree. I could see a way that they could write that in, but they won't.
Hopefully not. So next up, I've got Friends. Watched a couple episodes of that. Rewatching it this close to having watched it recently, I shouldn't have done it.
Nope. You gotta take some space with it. I haven't watched it in like a decade. Still not quite enough space, and I love Friends, but when you can recite every line,
Every joke, yeah.
every joke, you know the punchline to, it's not an
Kendall's
enjoyable
really
thing
good
to
at
watch.
that. Like she'll literally like look me in the eyes and say it, and I'll be like,
Yeah, I can do
"What?"
that too.
And then it comes up on the TV like a minute later, and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
fucking Joey.
the last time I tried to watch Friends, that's exactly what was happening to me. I was getting to the jokes before they were, and I'm like, oh, I have to put this on like times, like speed it up, fast forward a little bit, but it like or not do it, and I've stopped.
You gotta
it on
shuffle
too
it.
lately.
Shuffle the episodes.
Yeah, I think that's the only other way to do it. Cause otherwise, it's because it is very formulaic. So you get into the
Yeah.
rhythm and you learn everybody's joke style, and you pick them all up.
Joey's gonna be dumb.
Yeah,
Phoebe's gonna be oblivious. Monica's gonna be kind of a bitch. Let's be real. Ross is gonna be real indignant because people are stupider than him.
yeah,
Chandler's just gonna be sarcastic everything he says.
yep.
And then Rachel just sucks. Like, sorry, she does.
No, you're right.
Rachel is just the fucking worst.
I agree.
Ugh. So I got 3 more things on my list. I went to 2 movies.
Oh,
Damn.
driving.
2 movies. Yeah. No.
Oh, okay.
2 separate movies.
See, that's even more impressive. That's why I was just making sure, because that's more impressive than the drive-in double feature we
Yeah.
do occasionally.
No, this
'Cause
was 2
that's
separate
cheating.
days.
Yeah.
2 separate movies.
Oh, that's committing. In
Went to
town or out of
see-
town?
In and out.
A nice one of each. Oh,
Yeah.
really committed.
So I was planning on last Saturday night on going to see Godzilla finally.
Okay.
And then situations came up where an impromptu date night was an opportunity. And I knew Kendall did not want to see Godzilla. It meant more to me than it would to her to see that
Definitely.
movie.
I could see that.
So we went and saw Late Night instead. Was it Emma Thompson and Mindy Kaling.
Oh, right.
It was significantly better than I thought it was going to be.
Well, that's good.
Like, I assume you guys aren't going to watch it. Like,
Definitely
Craig,
not.
you might.
Yeah.
You might have to down the road. But is it okay if I spoil it for you guys?
Definitely
Go
for
nuts.
me, yeah.
Okay, so they have a reverse Me Too moment where you find out that Emma Thompson's character, like she's the host of this show with Catherine Newberry, or Tonight with Catherine Newberry, or whatever it's called. She's the host, and you find out at one point that her husband has the beginning of Parkinson's. But when he was first diagnosed years ago, like years prior to this, he was in a dark spot and just angry all the time. And she wanted to get back at him, and she was lonely. So she hooked up with one of her comedy writers, like one of the guys who writes her sketches and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you find out down the road, like later on that happened. They hint at it at the beginning, like they talk for like a second at a party, and she's like, it happened once and that's it. So she walks away, and you're like, what the fuck? And then him and Mindy start hooking up, and you're like, Mindy, you can do so much better than that. And it was kind of nice to see her in like a background role, because everything I've seen her in outside of Ocean's 8, she's been the same character.
Okay.
Like in the Mindy show, in The Office, she was the same character.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of like ditzy, but also smart, but really into like pop culture stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, she was in like a serious role. Like it was like a comedy style movie,
Mm-hmm.
but she's a little more like in the background. She's kind of like the driving force, and Emma Thompson's the lead character.
Gotcha, yeah.
But anyway, so they find out down the road because Ike Barinholtz is supposed to take over as host for the show, because they're letting her go because her ratings have plummeted, and the whole movie is them trying to fight back through the season to try to get back up in the ratings.
Yeah, okay.
So Ike Barinholtz's manager, after Catherine Newberry, like kind of tricks him into saying, "Oh, I don't want to do this. You should do this job." So like live air, so that they can't go with him now. Mm-hmm. So his manager goes and leaks the emails, like hacks in and leaks the emails that she was sending this guy that she was hooking up with years ago. So it's a Me Too moment, but like in reverse, where like she's the one in power who like pushed herself on a man. I was like, interesting, because you don't really hear much of that.
Yeah,
Like, you don't.
not really.
Because, like, guys are just too pumped. Guys suck. Like, no matter what we do or say, like, the argument just becomes invalid. Because we suck that much. Try and tell me I'm wrong. Try.
Not
You can't.
No.
Because it's true.
Can't.
Can't
Because
argue
it's
with that.
so unfortunate, but it's so true. Guys suck. So outside of late night, I went and saw Rocket Man yesterday,
Oh, right
Yeah.
on.
locally here in town. I liked it and I didn't like it at the same time.
Okay. What'd you like
Like-
about it?
It was a different style. It was
Okay.
like watching, kind of like Jersey Boys, where it was like a story, but like not everything had to tie in like musically.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, actually, I'm gonna rewrite that. It was like if, was it Across the Universe,
Yeah.
where they just used that music in the story.
Mhm.
It was like crossed over with like a biopic, like
Yeah.
like something like that. So it was interesting that way because like they show him singing, I think it was Crocodile Rock when he's like a little kid at a pub, and you're like, you didn't write that song back then.
Definitely not. Yeah.
What's going on?
No, that's the problem I heard with a lot of it is it's out of.
It's
really out of sequence.
it's like more of the story of what he went through as opposed to like
Yeah.
here's how it happened.
Yeah.
And they really like heavily feminize him in some situations, but then they make him like a straight up dick in others. And it's like it's good acting. Like Taron Egerton's a good actor, but it's just it's a different style. Like not something I was expecting.
Okay.
I thought it would be more, unfortunately, like more Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, see.
But it had a little bit more of like a Ray, like that darker side of it
Okay.
meets Across the Universe.
Yeah, I had gotten the impression from like what I heard from some of the marketing was that it wasn't meant to be like an accurate necessarily telling, but more
No.
so like his kind of fantastical.
Yeah,
Like-
it was very artsy. Like they
Yeah.
they have a scene where he's singing Crocodile Rock where he starts off as a little kid, or like not a little kid, but like preteen, who walks through this fence. And they start singing as a kid, and then spins around a couple times, type thing, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden he's full grown man
Yeah.
who's singing this stuff, and then like they're at a circus for a while, and they're at a fair, and they're like dancing around singing Crocodile Rock, and like kind of telling the story through that.
Yeah.
And then when he's a kid, like they have him writing Rocket Man, and I don't think they ever actually play the full song Rocket Man. Like they play a couple like little bits here and there.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of songs where it's literally a musical rendition. It's like his family like all being in one set, like in separate rooms, singing the same song together, type thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I
Like
heard.
which felt very Five O Goes Westy to me.
I don't know what that
Like
is.
somewhere out there, like that sort of thing, where it's like
Okay.
two people singing at each other, but they're not together.
Yeah.
There's another point where him and his boyfriend / manager, which was John Reed, who was played by Littlefinger, like the actor who played Littlefinger
Okay. That's
in
cool.
Bohemian Rhapsody, who was played by the guy who played Robb Stark in this one. So they got like
Oh, that's cool.
double the
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones for the same guy, but they did it totally different. Like he was kind of the antagonist, other than Elton being his own antagonist.
Yeah.
Like he was, because he was like, he came in and he was very like romantic, like physically threw himself at him and just said the right things in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you only get a few moments in your life, take what you want. And then like he made Elton feel like physically loved by shagging him.
Yeah.
But like he was also like, we're trying to run a business here. And you're like, oh, you don't think of that really, that it is a business. You're a businessman trying to like sell your shit.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. And he was in like the 5-button suits all the way up here, like
Ooh.
just really, really like crisp, starched collars, like just that heavy duty business guy. Whereas you flip over to Littlefinger and he was just kind of there, like he was well dressed, but like didn't have that heavy Scottish accent that this guy had, and there's just two totally different takes on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bryce Dallas Howard plays his mom, and I spent the whole movie like, who the fuck is that? Because she looked so familiar, and I couldn't place it. Because I think like for the role she had to put some weight on.
Okay.
Because like her face looked significantly bigger.
Yeah, to make her age
And-
up a little bit.
Yeah. and like it took me forever, like the whole movie, to figure out who the fuck it was. And just his mom sucked in this movie. Anyways, his parents both just sucked. But he was like, "Hey mom, hey dad, I know you split up, but whatever." And then he just falls down this rabbit hole of just like, I'm gonna fuck everything and I'm gonna do all the drugs. And then he came out still standing at the end of it, and that's how they end the movie. Is like they like take out Elton in the music video and they put in Taron.
Oh. Well,
And they're like, "Here you go."
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. It was just, it wasn't what I expected it to be.
Yeah.
So it took me a while to like
Get into it.
adjust. Yeah. But I really like him. Like I like Elton John and I like his music.
Yeah, that'll be one I'll wait till it's on.
Yeah.
DVD.
I don't think it's your guys' thing.
No.
I'm not
It
a
was
big
more of a-
biopic or music guy in theaters, at least. Like I'll see him
Yeah.
eventually, kind of thing.
But I really like the musical aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was pretty cool.
Yeah, see, I like that he went that route too, because I kind of prefer it more that way than it's like. Whereas Bohemian Rhapsody, it's like the music you get is when they're performing it, or them like it playing over montages and stuff. I haven't actually seen Bohemian Rhapsody, but that's my guess how they did it. Whereas this, it's like I like when it's like, even though it's not realistic, but like when you get the musical feel of like, oh, the whole house is singing, because
Yeah.
that's just a fun kind of thing.
Usually I like them separated. I either want like musical or I want like story.
Yeah.
Like I don't want them to like. That's why I liked Ray, because it was like, here's some music, but also we're not all about the music. We're all about the story.
Yeah. Where this one's
Whereas
all
like
about-
Rock of Ages, you're like, fuck yes, this is a musical.
This
Good
is-
music.
Yeah, it's all about the music in that one.
We're not gonna take it.
We built this city on rock and roll.
Don't you say that.
We built this city.
Classic rock stations always making promises they can't keep.
Playing the best rock. The 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Do you remember when the 90s wasn't really part of that?
Yep.
When it was...
I think you have to move past like 20 years or close to 20 years in order for it to,
Yeah, at least a decade in between.
yeah, before it becomes retro chic.
Yep.
Speaking of retro chic music, I also watched a couple episodes of Live from Daryl's House,
What
which
is
is
that?
Hall & Oates.
Okay.
It's like Daryl Hall from Hall & Oates. He has his own like little, I think it's like a restaurant shack type thing somewhere.
Okay, that's
and
cool.
like he'll bring in these bands or these artists to come like collaborate with him, and like his band and their band will get together and they'll play like some of their songs, some of his songs, and then they'll just like hang out and tell stories. And then there's a couple episodes where like they show like the in-house chef cooking something, and then they'll show you how he does it quickly, and then they just eat it, and you're like, this is just everything I want in a reality TV show. It's everything.
No, that does sound pretty good. Like, that's how I would, like having a little bit of music, a little bit of food, a little bit of conversation.
For a lot of them, it was neat because you got to see like two different styles. Like you got to see the original artist singing their song
Yeah.
with like that Hall & Oates kind of twist,
Right on.
where like it's just Daryl like adding in his own. Ah! But then there's also bits where it's like they're doing like a Hall & Oates song. But then they, like, I Can't Go For That. They do that like 4 times. They do one with CeeLo Green. I think they do one with the OJs. Pretty sure Cheap Trick does it. Like, they keep going back to it because, there's only so many Hall & Oates classics that people know that you could dive into.
Well, and I imagine he's putting these on iTunes or something to make him some
Yeah.
more money, and like that's a great
Oh,
way
yeah.
to get like.
But he also kind of like rewrites his own songs.
Oh, that's cool.
Like you can almost feel like he's bored. Like he's just tired of singing his music. That's why he started this.
Oh, definitely. Well, you got to think about like how many years they were touring
Yeah.
for, how many concert dates that is a year. Like, yeah, no, that adds up. Like,
Yeah, like the one point where I was like, I can't go for that. No, I can't do like that.
yeah,
Like he's like playing guitar. He's like now, like just parts where he like leans away. He's like now, just trying to like switch it up because he's so sick of
Oh,
singing
yeah.
the same stuff. It seems.
no, I get that. I could understand that. Like,
But then you get to see some older acts. Like you get to see the OJs, which are one of my favorite older groups. who are just absolutely fantastic. And they sound so good still. Like they sing Love Train.
Oh, okay.
Money, 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 money.
Right.
Money. Backstabbers. I love music. Such good songs. But you see them sing, and they still sound phenomenal. Like they're that group who they never tried to sing outside of their range, so their vocal cords survived.
Oh, that's
Unlike bands like April Wine, or a lot of that era where they're like, yeah, and then now they can't sing worth a shit.
That's Axl Rose, right?
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses?
So
Yeah.
the episodes I watched with the OJs, I watched Cheap Trick, which was awful.
Yeah, I was gonna say that one doesn't sound like it
That
would
one
stick
was
up.
so bad. CeeLo Green was kind of fun because it was like him one-on-one with that band,
Yeah.
and it's just CeeLo doing like his own thing because he's not like a top act by any means.
No.
Like I don't think CeeLo Green would ever sell out like an arena show,
Not the full
or
thing.
like a stadium.
Not like the arenas where you sell behind the stage
No.
too, and those go too.
Yeah,
No, he's
no,
not that
definitely
big.
not. But like it was fun to see him kind of there, like almost like he just got a phone call, like, yeah, I got nothing going on Tuesday. Is that what we're doing? Cool. Because I guess they released an episode once a month.
Okay.
Like it wasn't like a weekly thing. It was like once a month for a year, and that was your season.
Oh.
So that was pretty cool. But there's one guy they had on it, and he was one of the kind of like the mid-range through the series guys, because they had a lot of like acts that would not have mattered to me at all on the first couple seasons.
Yeah.
So I just watched random ones on YouTube. But they had Darius Rucker. And you know who doesn't need some old-ass white guy backing him up unless it's Hootie and the Blowfish? Darius Rucker. He did not need Daryl Hall to help him sing Let Her Cry. Like, that's one of my favorite songs all time. And I was like, what are you doing, Daryl? You're not allowed to sing this. Like, you're allowed to sing this in your car when you're driving somewhere. That's it. You're not allowed to join in. That's all I watched.
Right on. That was very.
Very passionate, and then you just stopped.
Yeah. Save the best for last, guys.
Right on. It's a very musical list for you this week. Kind of.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll just release the last two. But yeah, I guess that brings us to the end of the episode.
We did it. We made it all the way through.
Yeah. I got nothing else to say. Thanks for listening
Yeah,
this week,
me
guys.
Samuel L. Jackson was cool.
Yes, he was, and still is.
Shut
so you
your
don't think
mouth.
He died. Just so you don't think he died.
Yes, this was not an R.I.P. episode.
No, not yet. Knock on wood. Anyways, thanks for listening this week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.